I'm out in the garage today. I'm going to regrip a couple of my wedges. I regripped the rest of my clubs except for these two a couple weeks ago, and it was a lot easier to do than I thought it was, and so I thought I'd make a video of it to show you guys how to do it. That way, if you want to do it at home, you can do it as well. Let's get started. I ordered this grip kit from Champ Key. Now, they're not the most expensive grips, and you can get some really expensive. This kit had all the grips I needed to regrip all my clubs. Plus you've got this little tool to hold the grip when you put it in the vise. You've got the grip tape solution. This was really helpful. The tool that you use, the razor blade type tool that you can use to take off the grip. And then also it had enough of the tape so you can put the grips on the new clubs. Now this was a great kit, and it was actually under 40 bucks. I think they're around 40 or 50 bucks to do all of your clubs. So I decided to try it with these grips first, and I may put some more expensive ones on later, but I figured if I messed it up, I would at least have not spent too much money if I had to redo them. First thing you need to do is take off the old grip. And they're glued on there and they're on pretty tough. So what I like to do is use a little grip grabber that goes on the vise to make this easier. So you just do that, then you tighten it up. And I don't want to go too tight where I crush the actual shaft, but tight enough that I can get in there. All right, and then another thing in the kit, I use this. So it's got a little hook on it, very sharp. It makes this really easy to get the grips off. Also, when you're doing this, never do this towards you or towards your hand. That way you don't cut yourself. Very important safety tip. But yeah, just go like this. Oops. Like that. Cut it like that. Then peel down. And the grip should come right off. Now the next part is getting the tape off. And I've seen people use a torch to burn it off. That probably works really well. Obviously, don't do that if you're if you're doing using your if you have graphite shafts. But steel shafts, I'm sure that'll work just fine. I didn't really feel like doing that myself, just because I think maybe it might weaken the shaft, and so I'm just going to peel it off by hand. Yeah, and you want to make sure you get all the tape off you can, especially if they have tape at the end. And if you have to get that out, just this one didn't have it in there, but you can just kind of pull it out with that or use a screwdriver to make sure the tape is out of the end. Next thing you want to do is get the tape ready and get the tape put on the shaft. Now you'll want to line this tape up where you've got a 1/2 inch on the end to cover the end. So make sure you do that. So peel off the blue part first. And this is a two-sided sticky tape. So you want to peel that off first, and then there's another side to peel off. So again, I'm lining this up on the shaft where I've got just a little bit, just that 1/2 inch at the end. And I always want to make sure this is on there as firmly as possible and there's no air bubbles or gaps. So kind of go like this, work it along there as I put the tape onto the shaft. And with this specific tape pieces, it's already cut, but if you're using a roll of tape, you'll want to measure to make sure that you have a little bit of gap here when the grip goes on. But with these tape strips, they're already pre-cut and it's a piece of cake. So what I do, because this tape sometimes overlaps on the shafts, I get one side on there nice and solid, and then I will take off this, and then I'll use like the inside of this to just kind of make sure if I see any air bubbles, I really press it down hard. And then I put the other side on because it overlaps just a little bit. And if you've got the two-sided tape still on there, it makes it hard to stick on there. All right, so I did that. Put that on there. And then just take off this side. And again, I use just this tape to just kind of make sure all the air bubbles are gone. And then at the end of this, you'll want to fold the tape in together. And what that does is, since there's a hole in the bottom of the grip, it won't allow any dirt to get in your shaft. Or if you've ever had a club where you, every time you swing it or pick it up, you can hear like a little pebble or something in the shaft. So if you do that, this will keep that from happening. The next step, you will want to use your grip tape spray solution, or this is not, I guess it's spray solution, but it's solution. And what I do is, this can get really messy, so I have this old cookie sheet that I've had in the garage, and I set that underneath there. That way I don't make a big mess. I've also got some paper towels over here, because this stuff's going to drip out. And what you do is, you'll want to pour some of that solution inside the grip and make sure the inside of the grip has tons of solution on it, and then also drizzle over the top. Because the idea is, the solution will help you slide the grip over the tape, and then after a couple hours, once it dries, the solution will go away, and then the tape will be sticky, and then the grip will not come off. Now I like to line up the club face facing upwards, so that way I can line up the grip when I get it onto the club. Because this particular grip especially, it has some little pointers, which you'll want to be facing straight down at the club face in a straight angle. So take the top off the solution. I'll actually shake it up. Take the top off the solution. And then I use one finger and I plug up the little hole at the bottom. And then I spray some in here. And then I will shake it up. Make sure it gets to every part of the grip. And then the easiest way to do that is, because you want to get the solution on the grip itself. And so what I do is, I just take my finger off there. I still plug this end, and then I just kind of let it sprinkle along there. And then you kind of want to go over this. I like to go over this with my finger. I know you get solution all over your hand, but I just want to make sure that every piece of tape has solution on it, because if not, it makes it difficult to put on there. And then next, you just slide the grip onto the club, and it should go on fairly easily if you have solution on the whole thing. So yeah, see how it just slides right on there. And then the next key is, you want to make sure you're lining up these arrows with the straight club. Also, what I like to do is use another grip to make sure that I have the grip on correctly. You want to make sure you're at the end. You also want to make sure that you haven't stretched it out either too far or too thin. And so I use another grip to make sure it lines up right. But that's basically it. Then I'll take it off of here. Then I just want to make sure that I've got the grip is lined up. This could also get twisted. And these particular grips have these arrows, and I don't want one arrow pointing this way and that way. So you make sure those are lined up, and then line it up down the shaft of the club. I also like to look at it on the ground, and take an actual grip of the club and make sure that it looks good and feels good in my hands and are lined up correctly. And there you go. Brand new grip on your club. Then you just have to do it 13 or 12 more times. One thing I forgot to mention is, I got the mid-sized grips because my hands are a little larger. I probably could do better by getting the oversized grips, but I decided to go ahead, since I had regular size grips on them right now, and that's what I was used to. I thought I would step up, and it was another reason why I didn't spend hundreds of dollars on these grips, and I did them myself, is I wanted to save a few bucks because I wasn't sure if this was going to work out really well. So I got the mid-size, and I'll probably upgrade to the oversize at some point, but I wanted to kind of step myself up. So, well, thanks for checking out this video. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell if you want notifications. Check out CoachLemon.com for all things mental performance coaching. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.